the reverse camber and multiple side cuts, it just seemed like, there's one thing you can trust, that's traditional camber, traditional side cut. It was 155 centimeters tall. I designed it for my friend Kai Wiggins, who was my tester. He's the best snowboarder I know personally. He's competed in competitions like Dew Tour, some of the skiers here might know, Burton US Open, Burton Canadian Open. So he's a really good snowboarder. And this board is out of 10, 1 being soft, 10 being stiff. This board is a 6. It's a little bit stiffer than the medium snowboard. That way it can handle jumps that are longer than 50 feet. You have to be going really fast and you're landing really hard, so you want a board that won't give out on you. And so I'm going to show a quick video of him testing my board and what to look for, because he wasn't just riding the board for fun. He was trying to flex the board as hard as he could to see how much he could press the board on rails, because it has to be good on rails and jumps for slopestyle. He was spinning on and off rails. He had to test the slow speed maneuverability of it, how quick it would turn while moving slowly. And then easy and difficult rail tricks. He wasn't just doing one trick, he's doing multiple tricks along the scale of all the rail tricks you can do. And then jumps. This is higher speed. So now he's looking at how he can turn at higher speed, how responsive the board is, how big of a jump it can handle, how big can he spin without feeling uncomfortable on the board. And so this video is kind of my final part of my research of seeing how he felt on the board. And he felt really good because these are the first 2 runs he even took on the board. And so I thought this was really a tribute to how good he is. And so when he landed that last trick, that was a really exciting moment for me. He landed a 720, 2 full times around. Very exciting because it showed he can land something that I personally would be doing in competition. So it felt really good that that board could handle good tricks, and at the same time he could flex it on rails. And his feedback was really good too. He didn't just say, oh, the snowboard works. He said at slow speeds it felt like he was trying to turn a 2x4. Which means, the board at slow speeds wasn't turning quick enough. And I thought that was helpful because it meant the side cut of the board wasn't deep enough. The board wasn't turning around a small enough circle, per se. And so that was something that didn't really worry me, because in competition, as you saw in the earlier X Games video, you're going incredibly high speed. And so for its only flaw, for him to say that its only flaw was to be kind of planky at slow speed, I thought was a really good success for me. And so now I kind of have a test for you guys to see how much of what I've said has actually gotten through. So I have 3 snowboards here, and have the Capita Horoscope, a reverse camber board. It's got a flex rating of 3 from 1 to 10, 1 being soft, 10 being stiff. It's got a regular wood core, Capita's flat kick, which is their way of making up for a reverse camber board and the loss of the contact points. True twin, the nose and tail are the same length. It's got an extruded base that's stronger, less maintenance base. Then the Float Quantum, which is regular camber, flex rating of 5. It's got a regular wood core too, but it's got flows, things called whiskey rocks and whiskey shooters, which are, to put it simply, carbon in the core. They just have carbon stringers in the core. It's a true twin board as well, and it's got a sintered 4000 base, which is one of the highest quality sintered bases you can have. Or the Burton Fish, which is S rocker. It's a combination of camber and rocker made for powder riding. It's got a flex rating of 5 as well. It's got Burton's Superfly 2 wood core, which is that weird Frankenstein core. It's a directional board and it has a sintered base. So which one do you guys think would be the best competition board?
Middle.
Yeah, middle.
The Flow. Yeah. That one, of course, that was actually when I asked my tester how he wanted the board designed. He said make it like the Flow Quantum because he's ridden that board and he loves that board. And he said that board was the perfect board for him. So I designed it to be just like this board, except it didn't have the whiskey rocks and whiskey shooters because I couldn't take their patent. And so now we have time for questions and then we'll conclude. If anyone has any questions.
So is it possible to have a board that's perfect for rails and perfect for jumps?
It depends on the rider. I can make a board that's perfect for rails and jumps for me, but I couldn't make a board that's perfect for everyone who picks it up to be perfect for rails and jumps. You know, that's just not possible because of people's personal preferences. And that's what I realized is that, you know, a custom board isn't really, you know, it's good for one person, and you can go into a shop and you can pick up a board and that might be good, but there's always that one flaw that you wish, you know, I wish I could change this in that board. So there isn't going to be a board that's perfect for everyone for rails and jumps, but one board, yeah, for one person.
How do they test the flex rating?
That part, I don't know. I get it off their website, and I believe that it's a, you know, how much pressure they have to put on it to get it to flex a certain amount. And so, you know, the Capita Horoscope, if you see that board in the shop, and you flex it, you can push it with your pinky finger and it will flex.
Yeah.
So, whereas the Flow Quantum and the Burton Fish, they're pretty tough to flex. So, it's kind of a feel rating more.
Because I wonder, it just as it was very clear that you're the Dragonfly technology, you're not a fan.
They ride well, it's just, it's gross.
And I'm just wondering if your board had, because you had the, this not really a solid core, but the stringers went the whole way, if that would that attribute to the plankiness more than the side cut, or?
No, because it's not, you know, the way it turns is all based on the side cut and the contact points. You know, if this board went deeper in through here, just a few millimeters, then the board would turn a lot quicker because it'd be a smaller circle. So he didn't say it felt planky going flat base, just when he was turning it would turn a little bit slow.
Yeah.
One more, I guess, Chris.
What's the price range for these boards? Like the difference between like a regular and a custom?
Well, you know, a lot of people have thought that a custom board would be, you know, cheaper, or no, a custom board would be more expensive, but a custom board's cheaper. This board was $350, whereas, you know, the Flow Quantum is a pro model for a professional called Scotty Lego, and that board runs at around $550. And a base regular board, like the Capita Horoscope, runs at $400. So this board's cheaper than buying a, you know, a board like this. You know, you walk into a store, you see all these boards on a rack, and, you know, an off-the-shelf board, for competition-wise, it might not be good enough because there might be that one flaw that you want to change. So if you're a competitor like I have been the last 9 years, you know, you want something custom, something tailored to your preferences, something that you love. And so the way, you know, to answer my essential question of can I design, you know, a board that anyone can pick up and would be the perfect competitive freestyle board, I say no, I can't because of personal preferences. You know, someone my exact height and weight and shoe size, which is a huge importance, shoe size, someone my exact dimensions could have a personal preference a little bit different than mine. You know, they like a board a little bit softer, and it wouldn't matter. They wouldn't be able to ride my board because it's tailored for my preference. So, you know, the custom board is cheaper, so why wouldn't everyone who's competing do it? You know, it makes more sense. The board's perfect for you, and so therefore, you know, the perfect board is the one you design for yourself. And thank you for coming.
There's plenty of time, so if you have further questions,
Yeah,
please.
for more questions, come on up, Sean. I'm gonna answer your questions first.
Do bindings make a difference in like anything?
Not in the way that, you know, the snowboard would, because a snowboard, you know, the binding might matter for how your feet feel in the board. You know, they just might feel a little uncomfortable. But a binding doesn't matter that much. You know, it's a piece of plastic that's holding your foot to the board either way. Thank you.
Is that it right there? Are you
That
gonna
is,
ride
this
it?
is my board. Yes.
You did ride it.
I did ride it.
Oh, did you ride it this season?
Yeah, I wrote it. It got made in late February. It came to me early March. I wrote it a little bit. I had my tester ride it, and then I brought it out to nationals actually. And the inserts right here, right there, where the binding comes in, is stripped,
Oh,
which
no.
means you can't attach bindings to it. So that's either a manufacturer error or, you know, it's not a design error because I didn't know that they were stripped. So it's either a manufacturer error or they didn't even know, you know, whoever they purchased the inserts from sold them bad inserts, so.
So how much did you ride it? Did you get to ride it very much?
I wrote it for 2 weeks, about, maybe 3, and my tester wrote it for 2 days.
Yeah. Were you happy with it?
I was very happy with it. Yeah, it rode, you know, I had just gotten a board to compete on, and I liked this one better, and I was ready to ride this one in competitions until it broke.
You gonna make another one?
I found out, yeah.
So do you think that these professionals that are riding Burton boards, similar to the ones you go by at LaHoots, you think that that board is just made to look like the stock Burton board and it's really custom made for them?
Well, almost all of the professionals in the X Games have their pro model, and I think, yeah, if it's not their pro model, then it's probably designed to look like another board, and it's designed for them. Because, you know, Mark McMorris in that earlier video was riding a board called the Burton Process, which isn't his pro model, but he's won so many gold medals for Burton that I'm pretty sure they would be giving him his own board.
So are you inspired to continue with this kind of stuff? Are you the production part or the design part?
I would like to. I'd like to keep designing snowboards. I think it'd be a cool thing if I could get in touch with a couple companies maybe and work with a design team. It'd be interesting to do. Any more? The whole thing's stuff. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm saying, yeah.